Hello friends, this is Laffy, and today I wanted to take a look at the patch notes that dropped today for the new patch coming tomorrow, or in a few hours, or so they say, on September 28th, called Rage with the Machinist. First of all, I do want to point out a really cool reference for Rage Against the Machine. I will be looking at the entire patch notes today and providing a little bit more context as to what is in the post, because I do have access to Russian region and Korean region, so I can log in and show you some things that might shed a little bit more light onto what the new currencies mean and what the new costumes look like, which is what we're all really excited for, the new class and all of that. So let's dive into it. The first spotlight is, of course, the king of the hour this time, Mr. Machinist, which is the North American version of the class Scouter, that's known as Scouter in Korea, also known as Agent Scout in Russia. They went a different direction with Machinist. Personally, I'm going to be a little bit confused for the first couple weeks with this class's name, because Machinist was the name of artillerist in Russia, and now it's the name of Scouter. I will have them confused, I think, for a few weeks. You know, boomer mind does boomer things, but we'll get over it eventually. Still not as bad as Glavier. The Machinist will be joining the lineup of the Hunter classes. So it is a purely male class, and it's played very similarly to Shadowhunter. You get to control your drone separately. You can even micro the drone separately. For those of you that don't know, you can actually have it move around separately from your own character, and that is the first class on North America that is able to do that. The first class on Korea that was able to do that was Summoner, but since we don't have that yet, you can actually micro your drone separately from your character if you so need. Most of the time, I feel like in majority of the encounters that we do have on NA right now, you don't need to do that, but that is an option for you. You don't just need to move it around with your skills. You can actually press and hold control and right click and move just the drone itself while your own character stands still. But aside from that, I won't get into too many details about what the Machinist is like to play, because Lost Ark has provided us with a beautiful post that already covers everything. Lost Ark Academy Machinist. This Academy post, as they usually do them for new classes, goes over absolutely everything you need to know. What the class engravings are, what the skills look like, everything that you need to know about the Machinist is described here. Also, a lot of fellow YouTubers, a lot of fellow streamers have beautiful, wonderful guides, so I will not try to even delve into that, because I've only played Machinist in PvP very briefly. But if you do want a little bit more details here, you can obviously read the post for Lost Ark Academy. I will link it in the description. Or you can go watch Kanaba's stream, and he will teach you everything you need to know about Machinist as well, because the guy's been playing Machinist since he was born. So the next massive, huge thing on this page is obviously the new raid that's coming out finally. We've been waiting for this for quite a long time, because we had the entirety of August kind of as a downtime for everybody to kind of catch up and get their alts going, or juice up their roster a little bit, or juice up their main to make sure that they make it for Cuckoo. The downside of that is that a lot of people were bored and kind of got burnt out of the game, but now that's about to change, because we are getting Clown supposedly this Wednesday, which is great, because they didn't do much promoting for this raid, which was a little confusing to me. For a time, I actually was convinced that it wasn't coming, because they just mentioned it 3 months ago in the roadmap and then didn't really say anything about it. But now that it's coming, I'm glad that it is, because my main is ready for it. And I'm excited to prog this blind on stream with my friends. But essentially, once again, I won't get into this raid. I'm doing it blind myself, so I don't actually know anything about it. All I know is that it's absolute fucking hell, and I will hate my life, apparently, according to a lot of people in my chat. So we'll see how that goes. Entry level is 1475. And now the rehearsal mode for this is essentially a separate mode in the game that allows you to practice this raid and still get rewards. Obviously not the same rewards that you would have gotten otherwise with the real raid, but you can still go in there and you can still rehearse the actual raid with much simplified mechanics and less damage done to you and all of that, so you can get more ready for it if you're especially not at eye level, because the entry level for the actual raid, normal mode, which is the only mode for the raid out right now, aside from Inferno, which is coming in the future, this raid doesn't actually have a hard mode. So 1475 is for normal, and that said, Clown doesn't actually have a hard mode. Rehearsal, though, has the entry level at 1385, so you can practice it way ahead of time. So if you're not quite there yet, if you were worried about not making it to clown, if you're at like 1470 or 1450 or whatever, as long as you're above 1385, you can go into rehearsal, you can still get some stuff from it, and you can work your way through the raid and become much more familiar with the raid for when you actually hit the real thing. The one thing that you must understand about this that's really important is that they do share lockout. So if your character is at 1475, don't clear rehearsal, because you will get rewards for rehearsal and then you won't be actually able to do the normal difficulty of the raid, because they actually share the lockout for the week. So if your character is at 1475 but you want to get familiar with the raid prior, you might want to do it on a different character that's not your 1475 main. A new special training feature has been added, as it says at the bottom here, and it can be accessed by speaking to Beatrice and Trixion. The special training contains the same minigames encountered in the Petit Saydon raid for players to practice. So if you have been watching Saydon or anyone else prog clown, Helmut or whatever it is, you might have seen a side-scroller minigame where you have to be told a color and then you kill orbs or balls depending on what color you're told. I don't know, like I said, I don't understand fully how that raid works because I'm trying to do it as blind as possible. Obviously, the raid's been out for a while. I've been spoiled on a few mechanics, and that is one of them. That specific side-scrolling mechanic you can practice in Trixion now. So there is a separate Trixion mode now that's not just practicing your skills on a dummy, it's actually going in and practicing parts of the raid. We're going to get something similar for Brolshaza as well when it comes out. For soloing a boss on one of the DPS, we'll have to go in and solo a boss specifically, so they will have the opportunity to practice the mechanics. You can use consumables there, you can set your gear there, but essentially it's just a training mode in Trixion. You don't get any rewards for clearing it. It's literally just for practicing your muscle memory and getting more familiar with mechanics that might be a little bit too foreign for Lost Ark itself. So that's really cool. I like that they added that together, because this part of Trixion actually came much later to KR. It came, I think, like a year after Cuckoo's been out. So it's really great that they've added it all together so that we actually are privileged enough to have the opportunity to practice this part of the raid without having to physically get to it in the game, in the real thing. So, as we can see here, 2 new items used in exchange for rewards are introduced in this raid: Mayhem Marks and Mayhem Trumpets. Mayhem Marks are used at the Legion Raid Exchange NPC to obtain various rewards such as card packs, accessories, and more. Some of the items have a weekly limit, while others have a roster limit. Mayhem Horns are used to upgrade the bonuses provided by Legion Raid gear sets. These sets grant unique effects when 2, 4, or 6 pieces of the same set are equipped. These effects can be increased using Mayhem Horns at a new set gear management NPC available in all major cities. A new guide quest will be available detailing the new system in-game. So essentially that's what it looks like. Basically, if you only do Rehearsal, you will get the Mayhem Marks and you can exchange them at the NPC. And then for the Trumpets, you have to clear the normal mode, but you will still get the Marks and the Trumpets together if you do normal mode. So you're not actually missing out on anything from Rehearsal if you do normal mode. It includes the rewards from Rehearsal. New progression events. That's amazing because a lot of people are coming back to the game, a lot of new people are starting to play the game, and a lot of people feel like they are behind and feel like they're lagging behind people who play every day, even though they are not able to play every day themselves. So we are actually getting a free Punica Power Pass. This is a little bit strange, because they have said several times on the forums, they've announced that they are not actually giving us a power pass for this class at all, because their intention initially was to give a free power pass every other class, and Scouter or Machinist actually falls on the part of that pattern where it doesn't get one. So multiple times they've confirmed that we're not getting a power pass, but here we are. They actually are saying that they will give us a free Punica Power Pass, which is fantastic. All you have to do is having the Berver's Friend quest completed, which is the one where you get all the stamps. So you're running around Punica aimlessly. That's the quest that you need to complete. It's a purple quest. Once you have that done, you'll be eligible for this pass, and you will be boosted up to item level 1302, which is just like what a regular Punica Power Pass does to you, the one that you buy from the shop. I personally trusted them that, you know, they're not going to release a free one, as they've said multiple times, so I ended up actually paying for a boost a couple days ago, But I'm also not complaining at all because, listen, I'll take free stuff. That's great. A lot of people were disappointed that we're not getting a power pass for Machinist, and now we are, and I think that's great. I don't care that I've spent money on my boost already. I think that it's awesome that now I can just use another one if I wanted to, or have the option to, and I'm glad other people do as well. So that's a really generous and a nice thing of them to do. Kind of go against their own word, but in a good way. And to say that you know what, guys, here's a free power pass. Why the hell not? And then we get special event missions, of course. So similar to an express event, you can designate a character between item level 1302 and 1415 on your roster to participate in special event missions, where they'll earn honing materials to quickly level up to 1415. So obviously, you are looking to boost from 1302 to 1415, and to get to 1302, you can use your Punica Power Pass. So these are, as the previous event that we had before this, they are meant to be used together. So you would use the free Punica Power Pass to 1302, and then you would designate the character 1302, and then you get juiced all the way to 1415, which is fantastic. I appreciated being to 1415 as well, because last time it was to 1370, and a lot of people said that it felt a little bit too low. So people were asking for 1400 or 1415, and this time they gave us 1415, which is great also. Now we're moving on to general updates. So the first round of server merges will begin after regularly scheduled downtime. We all know about that. We've got new login bonuses, reward tracks. They've updated the Fever Time event system to allow for new types of Fever Time events. The first new event will take place during the final week of Arktoberfest from September 30th to October 3rd. In this event, each day rewards can be claimed through the button normally, but a special track will also be active that grants a bonus prize. They've went over this on a separate post. The growth support effect has been increased from 1370 to 1415 to help new players reach their friends in the Tier 3 endgame. Fantastic. The level 22 Legendary Engraving Selection Chest and 25 Gem Box rewards from the Throne Spire now have item level requirements. This is a very recent change from Korea, and they are changing that for our version. This is essentially to prevent bots from using damage hacks or whatever the hell they're doing. They're basically glitching through Throne Spire at like a very low eye level and claiming those rewards and then selling them. So this is to prevent that from happening. So now players who are 1445 will be able to clear Throne Spire and get those rewards, but they will still be able to profit from them if they want to. If they don't actually need to use the books themselves, they can still profit from selling them, but the bots can't. Updated the item level requirement for Legendary Class Custom Engraving Recipe Chest available from the vendor found on Anguished Isle to require item level 4045 or higher. Added an option to report mail received from other players. I really like that one because bots have been spamming through any means possible, so that's a good change as well. Added 6 additional character slots to increase the previous max of 18 to 24, which is also great. AFK kick has been removed, so now we are officially past the launch AFK kicker. AFK kicker was never actually in the game in KR, so the kick was actually implemented so that people wouldn't stay on the server to kind of combat the queues when the game initially came out back in February. But now that everything's settled down, we haven't had queues for a long time, aside from some bot fiascos, some bot incidents. AFK kick has been removed, and I think that's a pretty good idea. Additional items have been added to the Event Guardian raid vendor, including legendary card packs, the Petit Saydon Pet Chest, Legendary Report Selection Chest, Event Tome of Enhancement Books, Regular Select Currency Chest, which is the silver, Vita Meow, Leaps Essence, all that stuff, all the good stuff. So just the regular kind of vendor stuff. The Petit Saydon Pet Chest, I will give credit to Lost in Arcasia on Twitter at LostDarkHelp. They've posted this screenshot sharing with us what the pet actually looks like. So it's basically the cuckoo pet, but you can choose the regular version, you can choose the dead version, and then the purple version. I don't know if this is actually canonically anywhere in the game, but it looks pretty cute. So This is the selection chest. It's one per roster, so choose wisely. And then the store update, of course. The Rage with the Machinist update includes special Machinist skins, the Magic Society skins, new Machinist specific bundles, and more. Find new cosmetic showcase below. So they give us a small preview here, but this isn't everything. So let me preview the Machinist robotic skin first. This one here is the Machinist class costume. As you can see, it comes in 2 colors, and it is not dyeable. So you have to choose which color to pick, because you cannot dye this outfit, at the very least, unless they changed it since the time I played, when Scouter came out on the servers that I played back in the day, before NA came out, before the Western region. Those are the only 2 choices that you have, and you cannot modify them further, unfortunately. This Dawn skin, I've actually never seen before in my life. I don't know what it is. I'm not sure how I feel about it, but it's a pretty good preview on the website. I don't have anything extra to show you. But now that Scouter is out of the way, we can look at the Magic Society skins. And I actually have a store page and a trailer here. I'll play it for you here on screen. So it is from the Korean update page. They usually come up with trailers, and they always have a promotion page up describing everything and listing everything, so people can actually preview everything that they want to see how the characters will look with the outfits, because they are different for every class and for every kind of race model. So these skins are from October in 2019, so they are pretty old, but they are some of the first dyeable skins in Lost Ark. So these are all dyeable. Everything you see on screen, even though it's previewed in its default colors, they are dyeable, and I'm happy to say that. So let's go ahead and actually look at what they look like. So I will list this page below in the description if you want to look yourself or take some screenshots for your friends or link it to your friends. But basically this previews it, the different variations for every single class. So essentially, this type A uniform is the purple one. Like I said, again, you can dye all parts of this as well. So every pattern here, you can dye the bow, you can dye the tie, you can dye everything. So this one here is for hunters. This is for all of your scouter, artillerists, so on and so forth. They look the same for every class. They're not class dependent. They're just class base dependent. So all the artillerists will look the same as all the sharpshooters, as all the deadeyes, and so on and so forth. Same thing with assassins and all of that. So magician, warrior, fighter, assassin, hunter. That's the first one. Now the second set that we have here, we see on screen. This is probably my favorite, both for male and female. We've got hunter, assassin, fighter, magician, and warrior. As you can see, there's really no difference between the classes. It's literally just a difference between male and female. But once again, these are dyeable as well. These ones here, I do have to disappoint you, unfortunately. Any kind of face piece on Lost Ark, and I'm talking about something that goes on your character's face slot and not their head slot, is not dyeable. So unfortunately, to my knowledge, this mask remains pink, and you can't do anything about it. I'm sorry. I know it's disappointing. It's probably one of the first questions on your mind when you see this outfit is, can you dye the mask? No, you cannot. You can dye every other part of the outfit, but the mask has to stay pink. I'm so sorry. And the last one here, of course, is this, also dyeable in every part except for the bubblegum. That just always kind of stays. There's no animation for your character with the bubblegum. I don't know if you can see the bubblegum really well, but it's there, and well, it just always kind of stays there. So in screenshots, it looks cool. In game, it looks a little strange because it looks like your character is always blowing a bubble, but there you go. These are the school uniforms that we're getting in the new update. And I do want to point out one quick last thing. They did fix the, fix an issue causing the color options to not appear in the settings window for the attack direction indicators. So the bug where the front and back attack indicators were not appearing with the colors that you wanted is gone. So to summarize, honestly, I think this patch is amazing. I think this is great. It looks wonderful. Everything looks very promising. And honestly, at the end of the day, like I said before, I'm filming this during maintenance. If maintenance goes smoothly, if they actually fit everything within the hours that they meant to, if they don't have to delay anything, if nothing goes wrong, if there's no weird stuff happening, if actually everything goes according to plan and we're able to start the game back up and see all of this stuff in the game, this is one of the best patches because it just has so much good stuff. The only criticism, like if I had to come up with a criticism for this entire thing, is that I wish the clown raid itself was promoted a little bit better and a little bit more hype was built around it. I feel like they focused more on the Machinist side of the patch and not the raid side of the patch. I do think it's important to promote the raiding side because the raiding scene is always one of the most popular, if not the most popular part of any MMORPG. So in my opinion, could have done a little bit better with the promotion of the raid itself because I feel like we didn't really get anything except for the roadmap. So not even just to let the community for sure that it's coming, but also to just kind of build some hype around it and maybe draw some neutrally interested players into the game because it's like, oh wow, there's a new raid coming. Because only promoting a new class, although it is a really cool looking class, with a patch this big, I think is a little bit of a misplay. Aside from that, this patch is fantastic. Everything looks absolutely perfect. If the maintenance goes well, I'm very excited to see how it goes, and I'm very excited to see how the server merges happen. Hopefully everything goes smoothly and nobody loses their characters or nothing weird happens like that. So I'm really excited for this patch. So I will actually be progging Clown Raid tomorrow with my friends on stream. So if you want to come check it out, you can join me at twitch.tv/LoftyLOL. I will be streaming it tomorrow later in the day because I'm usually a nighttime streamer. We'll be progging it completely blind. We'll be completely clueless about it, and we'll probably spend many hours trying to figure out what the hell is going on in this raid because it is very difficult, especially for back attackers. So come join me there, come hang out, come ask any questions that you might have that I may not have covered in this, and I will do my best to answer them. But until then, I will see you in the next video and hopefully on my stream, and have a great day.